What's up, fight fans? Welcome to Mr. Mustache MMA News. Today, I want to discuss this Saturday's main event between Henry Cejudo and Song Yadong. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to continue getting more MMA content by yours truly to help the channel grow. All right, guys, getting right into it. This Saturday main event, Henry Cejudo, Song Yadong, a fight in the bantamweight division that has a lot of implications. Both guys coming off of losses, really trying to find their way back, a path towards title contention. You got Triple C, Henry Cejudo, 38 years old. I mean, the former double champ of the UFC, former gold medalist Olympian in wrestling for USA. I mean, what hasn't this guy accomplished in combat sports, right? He is Triple C for a reason. But in a sense, he was close to really cementing himself as one of the greatest combat sports of all time, but sports athletes of all time. But his early retirement kind of fucked that up a little bit. A little bit of self-sabotage in a sense. He won the title at flyweight, moved up, beat Marlon Moraes to get the bantamweight title, then defended it against Dominic Cruz. And right when it seemed that Henry was really about to get going and solidify himself as a greatest of all time, he up and retired, as a business move to try and get the UFC to kind of pay him champion money. And it didn't work. They didn't budge. They didn't offer him, a big enough raise for him to want to come back. And then he took too much time off. The sport grew, the fighters evolved, and he came back to a weight class that he became champion at, but wasn't there a very long time. So, it's a lot like, I hate to make the Conor McGregor comparison, but it's like he won the belt at 45, then went up to 55, and then now he's fighting at 70 and all this other stuff. And now where Henry took those about 3 years off almost to the day, came back against Aljamain Sterling, was just a step behind. Ring rust was definitely a thing with that fight. But also Henry's frame, he's a small guy against Aljamain Sterling's big frame. It also could have just been a mismatch as well. Then followed it up with the fight with Merab, in a fight where, you basically had two guys who had very similar styles, wrestling, heavy, and when it comes to their striking, they're more boxing heavy when they do strike. Henry, early in that fight, found a lot of success, almost dropped Merab, hurt him with the hands, was finding success in the wrestling as well, but faded. And I think age had a lot to do with that. I know that he was battling a lot of stuff and just distractions, and I think that's a whole thing too. With him having so many pieces outside of the octagon, him taking the 3 years off and then coming back just a little too late, I think the train is passed for Henry Cejudo. And going against a guy like Song Yadong, who, 27 years old, just, a powerhouse boxing style, pressure, constant forward movement style of fighter. Song Yadong is just always looking for the kill. And a fight that, I like to highlight the most, that reminds me a lot of, I think that what could be a blueprint for this fight is when he fought Ricky Simone. Ricky, who didn't wrestle much in that fight, but, I see that a lot of what Ricky does well, Henry does good as well. And I think that everything, yes, Song is very heavy on his front foot because of his heavy boxing-oriented style, but he's patient. He's extremely patient, mature for his age, good fight IQ, picks his shots well, good combinations. And I think that, Henry might find some early success in the wrestling department, putting on good pressure, maybe putting Song against the fence. But I think, rounds 2, 3, I think we're going to just start seeing Song putting on just a good beating at Henry Cejudo in this fight. I think timing's everything. I think context is very important when it comes to this fight, because Henry, man, as much as he tried to do, and play hardball with the UFC, it didn't work, and it kind of fucked up. I hate to say that it fucked up his legacy, because, he really was double champ. He really is an Olympian gold medalist. But post that, right when it seemed like he was getting into his prime, he let it slip through his fingers. So, in this fight, I think youth is going to play a lot into it. I think he's just a good, punishing fighter. I think he's going to have a good wrestling defense against Henry Cejudo in this fight. I just don't see Henry lasting the full 25 minutes to be able to get the job done against Song. Yadong. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this main event. Do you guys have Henry or do you guys have Song Yadong? Love to hear your guys' thoughts. But that's going to do it for today, guys. Mr. Mustache, MMA News out. Let's fucking go, fight fans.